I want to welcome you all again to our 33rd Annual Soaring to Excellence event. My name is Jasmine Jones, and I'm the Executive Director of the West Contra Costa Public Education Fund. Typically, we would be hosting this event at the Richmond Country Club, enjoying great conversations, good food, and many laughs. But what a school year this has been. No one could have imagined how drastically the pandemic would change all of our lives. Yet, here we are adjusting to the crisis that was presented before us. I would like to take a brief moment to reflect on how the Ed Fund team sprung into action to serve our community during this time. At the onset of the pandemic, the Ed Fund had recently shifted into our new role as the fund intermediary for West Contra Costa Unified School District. When the region-wide shelter-in-place order was enacted and schools closed and jobs shut down, we knew we had to support our community. We partnered with the district to launch the WCCUSD COVID-19 Rapid Response Fund for students and families. And we partnered with the City of Richmond and other community partners to launch the Richmond Rapid Response Fund. Since March of 2020, we have raised over $1.7 million in COVID-19 relief and have served many families, teachers, and district staff. This support has come in the form of teacher professional development, online curriculum modules, hotspots for internet, grocery cards, rapid financial and housing relief, care packages, shoe drives, scholarships, and so much more. We thank all of our philanthropic partners and individual donors for their generous support, because we know that none of this would be possible without you. I also want to take a moment to give a shout out to the Ed Fund team. They're right here. Jordan, Sarah, and Lucia joined our team just last June as interns, and none of us knew what to expect working in a virtual setting. But we were able to be as responsive to our community as we were due to the commitment and dedication of this amazing team. Thank you all for going above and beyond to serve our community. Now, I'm sure you are all ready to get into the real program, but bear with me as I get through the next few recognition slides. I'd like to recognize our amazing board members who have supported us tremendously as we've shifted to be a fund development partner and as we are thinking about our work through the lens of race. Thank you, Carl, Kathleen, Stephanie, Matt, Mara, Luna, and Bertha for being the Ed Fund's biggest champions. We appreciate you. I'd also like to recognize the sponsors of this event for their generous contribution to celebrating teachers and students in West Contra Costa Unified School District. Thank you, Travis Credit Union, for sponsoring at the Life of the Party level. Thank you, Chamberlain Education Foundation, for sponsoring at the Most Unforgettable level. Thank you, Lozano and Smith, for sponsoring at the Most Unforgettable level. Thank you, Chevron, for sponsoring at the Most Unforgettable level. And thank you, WCCUSD, for sponsoring at the Most Unforgettable level. Your contribution to this evening's event is greatly appreciated. I would also like to give a special mention to last year's Teaching Excellence Award winners. We were not able to party with them last year, but we do want to recognize them this evening. So thank you so much for being outstanding educators. Cesar Dante Bargon at Cesar Chavez Elementary School, Sydney Shantz at Korematsu Middle School, Jesus Galindo at Lincoln Elementary, and Crystal Turner at Lupine Hills. You all rock. Thank you. And now I would like to introduce you to our MC for the evening, Jesus Galindo from Lincoln Elementary School. Mr. Galindo is a recipient of the 2020 Teaching Excellence Awards, a 2020 nominee for the County Teacher of the Year, and he lives right down the street from the school he works at in my hometown of Richmond. Let's show some love for Jesus Thank you for your commitment to educational equity and the passion you have for WCCUSD students. I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Thank you, Jasmine, for that kind and wonderful introduction. Before I begin, I gotta say it's a little weird not being able to see any faces. Usually, if the audio quality is off, I have 20 third graders vigorously pointing their fingers at me. So if for some reason you can't hear me, you can't see me, please let me know in the chat box. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Ed Fund's 33rd annual celebration. As Jasmine mentioned, my name is Jesus Alfredo Galindo, and I have the privilege of not just being a third grade DLI teacher at Lincoln Elementary, the school I love, but I will be your host for this evening. Now, before I proceed, I want to acknowledge that we are making history. As Jasmine mentioned, this event usually takes place in person. However, today marks the first time this celebration occurs virtually. Hashtag making history. That's not only cool, but in the words of some of my students, that's lit. And it's not just lit, but it's a testament to the Ed Fund's commitment to celebrating the work and accomplishments of our district's teachers and students. Together, we will recognize and honor this year's 4 Teaching Excellence winners and 10 scholarship recipients. By the end of this event, we will all be reminded of how much our communities have to offer. The names and stories that you will hear tonight will remind you of this truth, that in the face of overwhelming adversity, the teachers, students, parents, and various stakeholders of our district bring a lot to the table. Throughout our time together, I want you to participate in multiple ways. If you are moved by what you hear, please use the chat box to express yourself. I ask that you shower all our performers and winners with positive comments. Let's show them how proud we are. With that said, it is only appropriate that we start this event by showcasing the work of one of our community's best poets. Please help me give a warm welcome to Richmond's poet laureate, Cici-Jevae, who will be performing for Wave Makers.
Greetings, everyone. Can y'all hear me okay? Awesome. Okay. So excited to be in this space with you all. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. And I will jump straight into this piece, really honoring the work of students throughout the Bay Area. When you look in the mirror, do you ever marvel at your elegance? How full of blues and jazz your skin is? How full of hip hop your walk is, talk is? And they be like, how does she walk and sway like that? How does she balance all those acts? How does he never strike out when it gets to bat? How does he learn to fight like that? And I hope that you will tell them that your melanin is a superpower, that this world was instructed to break into you, but you are armor. Your resilience is the gospel. Your tongue be multiple weapons in one, the decolonizer. Cracking English into slang, Black vernacular Spanglish, it is whatever you make it into. But this tongue, no code switch, no multiple languages, know how to mold words into money. I speak green, I speak survival, I speak triumph over bridges of battles, over every person who counted on my failures, ran out of things to count and ended up penniless. And here I am, standing on my own mountain of gold when I tell you what you doing ain't easy. What I mean is, you are literally history in the flesh. What I mean is you are breaking stereotypes so that types of folks like us unlearn unhealthy struggle. What I mean is you are not the exception, What I mean is you are creating a new standard, a new playing field where your reflections will not have to wonder if they are good enough, if making it past a certain age is feasible, if getting a college degree is a 1 out of 10 kind of deal. You are teaching the next generation what it looks like to heal. So when I call you blues, I mean, I see your trauma, your pain, your long nights of little sleep and agony. And when I call you jazz, I mean, I see you moving, adding cadence to all of that to keep your feet going forward. I see you switch tempo and tongue like it's never been done. And when I call you hip hop, I mean, you are ever changing, but always feel familiar. You are full of many flavors, but always taste like a home cooked meal. You are a multitude of beats, but I can always vibe with you. And when they be like, how does she walk and sway like that? How does she balance all those acts? How does he never strike out when he gets to bed? How does he learn to fight like that? I hope that you will tell them that you swam entire oceans that have tried to consume you. But here you are, full of sea salt and music, and without a doubt in sight, still standing. Ashe. Thank y'all so much for listening. It has been my pleasure to be in this space, and I want to just give a huge congratulations to the teachers and to these young folks. Thank you so much. Ashe.
What a powerful performance. Please join me in taking at least 30 seconds to flood the chat box with love and appreciation for Cici. Please feel free to also enter your favorite quote. When Cici was sharing her words with us, one of the words that really stuck to me was, how does she balance all those acts? As a teacher, that's something I think about all the time. How do we do it? How do we juggle so much at once? Our world got turned upside down overnight, yet we still manage to teach and serve our students through a small screen. We answer more phone calls, texts, and emails than ever before. And all while trying to provide our students with the education they deserve, taking care of our families, and trying not to drink too much coffee. Maybe the last one's true for me, maybe. But when I think about our first two Teaching Excellence winners, Molly Wall and Christina Ferry, one of the reasons we juggle all these acts as teachers becomes clear. We have an unwavering commitment to the holistic well-being of our students. Molly Wall, who teaches at Madera Elementary, not only delivered rigorous instruction to her students, but used morning meetings to provide them with a safe space to talk about their lives and develop their social emotional skills. Christina Ferry, an ELD teacher at Livonia Middle School, works hard to help her students master the English language, and at the same time, she takes on projects like creating a school closet to collect and organize resources her students need to meet their basic needs. Oh, sorry y'all, my computer just acted up. Please join me in celebrating and hearing the stories of these teachers.
So my name is Molly Wall, and I teach at Madera Elementary here in the district. I've been there for 2 years. Last year I started with 5th grade, and this year I'm with 6th grade, so I have kind of the blessing of getting to move up a grade with the kids that I'm working with. Currently, I teach English language arts and social studies as well as advisory. It actually wound up being a really perfect fit for me. because I think that there's a space to work on the kinds of things that I care about. So it's space to be creative. It's space to be with like youngsters who are very curious about the world around them. And if you're at all interested in making social change, I mean, where better to be than working with the future, so. Well, it's funny because this is the first year I've taught 6th grade, so I can't really tell you what 6th grade would look like normally because I've never taught it normally before. So I can tell you, like last year with 5th grade, it was a lot of fun. We had like morning meetings every day where we would sit in circle and check in with each other and problem solve like issues that came up in our classroom community and in the larger school community. We do the units of study for reading and writing, and then on any given day it could be also then doing science or doing social studies or math, because when I was in 5th grade I taught everything. So then moving to this year, it obviously looks different, but it's got some interesting similarities because I'm with the same kids I was last year. So I feel really blessed to have moved into this role already having pre-established relationships. I was really sort of like at first really reticent to even share with people that I'd been honored. It's just not really my flow. But the word got out there, and it actually had one of my students from when I was teaching at Portola many years ago reach out to me. She's now a teacher in the district. And she was just, I just have to email you about like the impact of being in your classroom for middle school. During all of what we've been going through for the past year, to have that happen, like I feel like I felt that even more keenly than I would have if it were a regular year, because we're all so siloed right now and just like without connection to other teachers or whatever, just to have that happen, I was just like, I felt like such an amazing blessing. It's been phenomenally hard. You know, it's hard on everyone. And I think one of the reasons why it is so hard is because most of us became teachers because we are relationship people. And so trying to find ways to sustain that, that has been the challenge. Well, first of all, my mom and dad. My mom was a lifelong teacher and my dad was a social worker. And so I feel like my call to be of service comes from them. I would also say my fellow teachers. I've had some pretty incredible principals. So Allison Makala, who is a former principal, and then David Wrench, who's my current principal, are just really amazing people who are holding it down and like supporting the teachers as they do their work.
I wasn't really expecting to be a teacher. It was my junior year in college when I took a class it's like a educational anthropology class, and it just kind of sparked for me. And then I decided to come back to the district that I grew up in. I went to Harding, and then I went to Portola, that's now Korematsu, and El Cerrito High, and I just really wanted to like deepen my roots in this community. So I teach ELD levels 1 and 2, mostly newcomers at this point. Usually on Tuesdays or one day a week, we'll start with community circles with our school therapist from Familias Unidas, and we'll then kind of move into reading time. It's like so cute listening to them read and like identifying cognates. They're like, whoa, community and comunidad are the same. And you're like, yes, honey. My most recent contribution I'm really interested in is from our circles, our community circles. We realize how like in need the children and their families are, especially during the pandemic. So this year I created a school closet, and we put, I did a GoFundMe to get a lot of hygiene supplies, and I just kind of got a whole bunch of clothes from the community. And at one of our events, we were able to pass out like 150 jackets, and it was just so great to see kids kind of say what they need or what their families need, and then have our school like provide those needs, and I really like that. It's been a crazy year, and I know like it's like not only are the students struggling, but like the adults are having a hard time. Like we're all in this weird Zoom room together, right? And it's like kids have a hard time too because they may not be able to be monitored if their parents have to go to work or if they have to take care of other siblings. Like I see so many babies at school when I'm like, it's time to turn on our cameras, honey. And you'll just see Huston with her baby, and then you got another one over here. And I think it shows so much resilience in the children that they're willing to like do all, and the parents, right? Where they have so many things that need to be done right now, and they're also making school a priority when they have to like take care of their families at home. So I would not be at this school or like in this district without so much love and care from the community at Dijon. We have amazing staff. Our ELD house is like, I've never worked with more dedicated teachers. Our admin, Ms. Valdez, has been there for 8 years now, and she's really been a guide for me. Mary Lugden at the Rap Center, she's my coach. My mentor, Angie Barra. Escape Club, I have to shout out Escape Club. Yeah! I think that's pretty good.
Hey, I can finally see myself. Thank you. How can you not be inspired by hearing the amazing work that our teachers are doing? Please join me one more time in just appreciating Molly and Christina. I want us to keep flooding the chat box with appreciations, with affirmations. Let's let them know that we're here and we're showing up for them. You know, while I was watching the video, one thing that just filled my heart up with joy was to see Molly and Christina light up when they were talking about their students. Ultimately, as teachers, that's why we're here. That's why we juggle so many responsibilities. It's why we commit to putting in so many hours. It's for our students. Next up, we're going to recognize 5 of our scholarship recipients. We broke it up because there's a lot of them. And if you haven't done so already, I highly recommend that you read our scholar spotlights. While I was reading them, two things came to mind. The first one is our students are so impressive. I just had to kind of pause for a moment and remind myself that they're still in high school. You know, despite of all the obstacles they faced this academic year, they stayed fiercely committed to their education. They adapted to a new way of learning and socializing at a breakneck speed. Nevertheless, they not only got through the year, but they thrived. They excelled both academically and in the domain of community service. The second thing that stuck out to me was their humility. All of them thank the people and organizations in their lives that have allowed them to get to this point. And I think I speak on behalf of all of us here that the feeling of gratitude is mutual. We are immensely grateful for our students. As they transition out of our district and move on to the next phase of their lives, I am excited to see them share their wisdom and heart with the world. Through them, people will get a small taste of our community's greatness. Without further ado, let me explain the process. So I'm going to say the name of the scholarship. I'm going to say the name of the student and which school they belong to. And after I'm done reading their name, I want you to please bombard the chat box with your positive comments. Let's show up for them. Let's get started. So for our Ed Fund West Scholarship, we have Catherine Rojo from El Cerrito High. Congratulations, Catherine. For our STEM Scholarship, we have Luis Carrillo from Richmond High and Valerie Ambris Castro from Kennedy High. There you go. That's what I love to see. Nice. Next up, we have our Schroeder Family Foundation Scholarship winners. First up, we have Sushita Kanal from El Cerrito High. And we have Leba Noor from El Cerrito High. Let's give it up for our scholars. Their commitment Their unwavering commitment to their education is paying off. And it is just the beginning. That's what's so exciting. Scholars, I hope that you are rejoicing with your family, with your loved ones, because you deserve it. Please join me in celebrating and hearing from our scholars.
Okay, so my name is Catherine Rojo. I attend El Cerrito High School, and my future plans is to study to be a pediatrician, and I hope to major in biology. And I think I'm planning on attending Contra Costa College. I think one thing I would wish I could have done this year was definitely more of my social activities. I was very active in school. I was in dance and color guard and all that fun stuff, garden club, lots of clubs. So definitely just interacting with people. I definitely missed that, and I wish I could have done that this year. I even started my own page on Instagram called Worldwide Pal, where I spread like positivity, and I encourage others to be active, and not just simply like physically active, but like active and just like spreading like awareness of everything that's going on, because I feel like it's very important, especially as a Latina woman. It's very important to encourage everyone to be leaders, because I know it can be very difficult right now, especially during the pandemic, but I'm trying my best to do so. So yeah, it's been definitely just like motivating me and encouraging me to just inspire others for sure. And it's actually the first scholarship I received for the ones that I applied, so it's like even more like special to me, so I'm very grateful for this.
My name is Luis Carrillo. I attend Richmond High School, and my future plans would be to join a four-year university, specifically SF State. It's been pretty rough, like jobs went down for my parents, and for me, like I've been struggling with like motivation mostly. Sometimes everything's like not fair and we don't get equal opportunities to reach your goals. This scholarship means a lot because it takes off a lot of stress. It will go towards my college tuition, and it will help me with paying it.
My name is Valeria Ambriz. I'm currently a senior at Kennedy High School. My plans after high school are attending a 4-year. I'm mostly leaning towards attending SF State, but I'm still indecisive where I want to go. My major interest is biomedical engineering. This scholarship to me means a gift because it will allow me to pursue my education further. I want to appreciate and thank my scholarship donor for giving me the opportunity to continue my journey towards higher education, especially being a Latina woman in STEM.
My name is Ciera-Jevae. I am a senior at El Cerrito High School, and I will be attending UC Berkeley in the fall as a public health major on the pre-med track. This time with COVID, it hasn't been very interpersonal, making connections with people, and I'm really looking forward to seeing people face to face, seizing every opportunity I can at Cal. Disparities in access to testing sites, and access to food have really affected my family personally. And so I had to find food pantries for my parents. And this impact on especially people of color and communities of color made me want to advocate for change. I helped create a COVID-19 blog site with my Rising Professionals cohort to spread awareness and resources. And this really inspires me to obtain a degree in public health so I can learn about the racial inequities and inequities in economic status for people of color and marginalized groups. Thank you so much to the Schroeder Family Foundation. This scholarship really means a lot to me. It means that I can go on to be the first in my family to attend college and gain a higher education. Thank you, this really means a lot to me.
I gotta be frank with all of you. It's difficult not getting emotional hearing the stories of our students. You can't really see what's behind me, but I have a RY wall. And in this wall, my students get to tell me why they go to school. And in the response of all the scholars we just heard from, they're not just committed to educational excellence, but they want to operate in a way, they want to carry themselves in a way that improves the quality of life, not just for themselves, but the most marginalized in our nation. And that's what I meant by how impressive our students are. They are so inspiring. So I just want to take a moment to recognize and appreciate them. A lot of you have showered them with positive comments. Please continue to do that. Next up, we have our second group. And this group is equally impressive. Let's revisit the procedure. Number one, I'm going to say the name of the scholarship. Immediately after that, I'm going to say the name of the student and the school they currently attend. All right, for the El Cerrito High School Higher Education Scholarship, we have Mara Bravo Santos from El Cerrito High. Congratulations. From the Contra Costa Choral Vocal Music Studies Scholarship, we have Naja G. Jaga from Middle College High and Madison Weller from De Anza High. Congrats, scholars. From the Fregario Family Scholarship, we have Stephanie Garcia Avila from Richmond High and Lisbeth Zaragoza Ponce, also from Richmond High. Please join me in giving them a huge, from wherever you are, just a huge and warm round of applause. Scholars, we are so proud of you. Now, take a seat, get comfortable, and join me in honoring and hearing the stories of these scholars.
My name is Mara Bravo Santos, and I go to El Cerrito High School. The next 4 years, I plan to go to Stanford University and study management, science, and engineering, but that may change as I am pretty much undecided. But in this past year, I have realized how much of an importance there is in addressing the needs of marginalized communities. And with that realization, I have joined like community advocacy groups, including STAND, Survivors Taking Action for a New Day. And with that, I've been able to grasp an understanding of the power in community initiative. And what I've done so far is, speak to community officials and push for reallocating of police funds to community services. I want to say thank you so much. I love, organizations such as the Ed Fund that do all of this to support students who otherwise wouldn't have access to that form of support. And I really, I'm honored to have received this award.
My name is Naja Jajaga. I'm a senior at Middle College High School, and next fall I'll be attending Boston University on a tuition scholarship through the Posse Foundation, studying health sciences. I'm hoping to become a physician when I'm older, but the reason why I want to become a physician is because of those biases that not only affect the Black community through the medical field, but also because there's a huge bias that affects marginalized people as a whole. And so I'm hoping with a career in medicine that I'll be able to combat those injustices through a field that I am interested in. I'm very thankful because every little aspect and person who's helping me get closer to my dreams of attending college, I'm so grateful for. So thank you.
My name is Madison Weller. I'm a senior at De Anza High School, and in the fall I'm going to be attending CCC with plans to transfer to San Jose State University, majoring in psychology. This year it would have been really nice to have been in choir again. I've been in the all-district honor choir all 4 years, so it's kind of sad that my senior year we don't even get to really perform. And I also wish we could have a real graduation. I appreciate it more than they could ever know. My family has always been on the lower income side, and I have always wanted to go to college, but it's a really big concern for me to have to worry about my family helping me with that. And I also have two younger siblings that are going to go to college as well. So it's really helpful for my family and I to know that we're going to have some help to rely on.
I'm Stephanie. I attend Richmond High School, and my future plans of right now is to become an educator. Personally, I feel like at the beginning I struggled a lot with motivation. School was always my safe space to attend, and not having that safe space anymore really challenged my mental health a lot. So I had to learn new ways to cope and feel at home in my own home. Now today was my first day back at school, and I felt so happy. But it's been a journey. It has had its ups and downs, and it's definitely shaped me into the person I am today in a sense. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It really means a lot to me. It's so surreal to me. When I got the news, I was like, no way, I don't deserve it. I'm just really thankful, and you are supporting a great cause.
So my name is Lisbeth Zaragoza. I am a current high school senior at Richmond High in the Law Academy. My future plans after high school is to attend UC Berkeley, majoring in environmental studies as well as natural resources. So I'm really interested in just working with my community and engaging with students as to how being environmentally safe and collaborating with others is good for our community. Overall, COVID, I feel like I've learned a lot along the way. I joined an amazing program with West Contra Costa as a COVID youth ambassador. So that has really influenced me to uplift others in our community to just, remain safe, social distance, and share a lot of amazing facts as well as educational things that not a lot of people know of, as well as opportunities for vaccination rollouts, as well as important info. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Being a first-generation college student, as well as coming from a low-income family, this means a lot. Not being able to afford college is a topic that a lot of students have in mind, and it's honestly something that lingers behind your head every day. And just being able to get help and a form of aid that contributes to higher education and supports students and me is honestly a big help. And I hope that a lot of students take advantage of these useful resources and opportunities that our community offers. So I highly appreciate it, and it's a big help into pursuing higher education.
To Stephanie and all the other recipients of these scholarships, you are more than deserving of these awards. You are a symbolic representation of what at WCCUSD we're trying to accomplish. We are really proud of you, and I want to invite everybody present to please take 30 seconds to one more time bombard this year's scholarship recipients with your positive comments. Now, we get to the last two winners of our Teaching Excellence Award. And I don't know if you picked up on this, but it seems to be an overarching theme, one that makes me really proud to be a teacher in this district. And it seems like all these students are not just striving to be the best, but they're striving to disrupt the system in a way that expands the spheres of freedom and justice for everybody in our community and across our nation. When I learned about Carlos Juntilla and Laura Garrigues and their work at Richmond High, I saw connections between our scholar spotlights and what these two amazing teachers are trying to accomplish. They're not just trying to help their students become proficient in the Spanish language. They're not just trying to help students keep their cultural heritage while they try to acquire the English language or become proficient at it. They're not just trying to get their students to pass AP exams or to challenge them in terms of academic rigor. What they're truly trying to do is send a powerful statement, not only across our community, but really to the world. And that message is that when you give students the right educational opportunities, it doesn't matter what they look like, it doesn't matter what language they speak at home, it doesn't matter if they're undocumented or not. When you give them the right educational opportunities, these students will achieve their full potential. I'm so proud to call Lara and Carlo a colleague. Please join me in celebrating them and learning more about their story.
My 4 grandparents didn't finish elementary school, and one of my grandparents actually never learned how to read and write. I moved to the United States when I was 21, and I arrived to the United States with a backpack and $20. I like to remember that. And I held various jobs throughout my life until I made my way to the university, which is what I wanted. It's like dream to get an education. Once I got to Richmond High, I found my place and my home in the United States. So one thing that I do a lot in the classroom are circles. So that is part of building community. I focus a lot on social emotional learning. I want students to feel comfortable, not only to get to know me, but to get to know each other, to create that community where they feel safe. I feel like the contributions that I made to the school, they have been made in collaboration with other colleagues. I was part of the founding team in the International Academy with Mr. Siever, Mr. Scatolin, and Mr. Gutierrez. That was the first very intense year, 3 years ago, where we worked really, really hard, like setting up the structure for this new academy. It's been hard and challenging, but I feel like at the same time, like this pushed me to be more present. Like I did things that I didn't do before. When classes start this year, I called every single student on the phone, my homeroom particularly, just to make sure that they knew who I was, that they knew where they had to go. Yeah, I learned to be more patient, to listen, and to be more present. I would like to thank my students because they are my motor and inspiration every single day. I would like to thank their parents, my colleagues at Richmond High School. I feel like we have a strong community, and the admin team, I feel very privileged to have the admin team we have at Richmond High. Mr. De Leon, Mr. Hatcher, Mr. Hillier, and Ms. Reyes. Amazing team. I would also like to thank Mary Lawton, who was my coach for a couple of years and who definitely made me a better teacher.
So I was born and raised in Sequim, Washington, so far from home a little bit. My parents both immigrated to the United States from the Philippines, and they always told me to value education and to take it very seriously. I'm a first-generation college student, and so right out of college, I joined the program Teach for America, and I was placed in the Bay Area, and I told the recruiters that I wanted to do high school. I wanted to teach 11th and 12th grade history so that we can, teach students how to reclaim history and to help students, get into college and support them on that journey towards, what life can be like after high school. Yeah, so I teach 11th and 12th grade social studies. Pre-COVID, we're together in a classroom looking at historical documents, analyzing and critiquing history, and trying to find ways in which we can apply our learning in the textbook to outside of the classroom so that the learning can really feel authentic and feel like it really applies to their lives. So the group of students who I teach are predominantly from migrant families. So each one of us comes from a different, has a recent immigration story that we like to share and we can tell that really connects us together. And so the Bay Area has a really rich history of immigration and what it was like for Asian immigrants to move to the Bay Area 150 years ago. So we do this storytelling unit in my class where my students are able to learn about the history of immigration, to talk about their own immigration story and their family's immigration story, and to find the commonalities among each other and in history, and it's a lot of fun. Distance learning has been quite the challenge. It has called on me and my students to think of different ways to be creative and to overcome these challenges together. And I'm still inspired every day by the work that my students are able to turn in, despite the barriers that keep them from accessing the learning the same way as they had before. I am just a reflection of every single person who has ever mentored me, ever supported me, everybody at Richmond High School, my Richmond High School family. I'm so appreciative of them for welcoming me when I first joined in teaching and for supporting me and guiding me when I didn't know what I was doing. And I wanted to say thank you to my Teach for America family for also giving me the tools and resources to be successful in my classroom. I want to extend gratitude to my students who push me hard every single day to help me become the best educator I can, because at the end of the day I work for them and they inspire me to work harder every day so that I can be a better teacher for them. And I want to give a shout out to my mentors and my teachers who shaped me into the educator that I am today. And so I'm just grateful.
There's a comment by Barbara McCormick in the chat box that I think captures perfectly what I'm thinking, which is, your students are so lucky to have you. And not only your students, but this huge WCCUSD family is so blessed to count you in this family. Carlo and Lara, thank you so much for all you do. Thank you for allowing your light to shine bright and sharing your stories with us. Before we move on to the next part, I just want to invite everybody here one more time to just show an immense appreciation to this year's Education Award recipients. Congratulations. And I hope I get to see a lot of you flooding the comment box because they definitely deserve it. All right. So I think teaching, when I reflect on teaching and I reflect on the amazing work that we've seen tonight from our teachers, ultimately it's about creating an environment, creating an ecosystem where we can set up our students to succeed. And just like students need that environment, that's also true for teachers. It's true for administrators. It's true for anybody who works at a school or with a school. And when I reflect on some of the people who have impacted my teaching in a positive way, I can't help but think of Superintendent Duffy. Tonight isn't just about celebrating our teachers and students. It's also about paying honor to the 5-year tenure of Superintendent Duffy. Well, when I think of Duffy, there's one story that comes to mind. As a teacher, I get visitors all the time. I get parents, I get, people who want to be teachers, I get administrators. And I remember one of the first times that Duffy entered our classroom. I don't know why, but Duffy always comes to my classroom when we're working on math. And, my students are vigorously working away. We're working on a word problem. I think the word problem was about it's like measuring. And Duffy's kind of walking around. And usually, my visitors will maybe circle the class and then they'll leave. 5 to 10 minutes maximum. Not Duffy. He walks around. He finds a student who, during our math time, instead of using a pencil, he's using a marker. He goes up to the student. I can't really hear what he's telling the student, The student nods, immediately looks for a pencil, and then continues working. After that conversation during math time, the student never used a pen again or a marker. Legend has it that he hasn't used a pen or marker till this day. But in all seriousness, you know, Duffy is someone who is not afraid to interact with students, not afraid to provide teachers with feedback. He's given me feedback. And I think I speak on behalf of a lot of stakeholders, a lot of community members, when I say, thank you, Superintendent Duffy, for all you've done for our community, for all you've done for our students. I'm immensely grateful.
Oh, Jesus, thank you so much. That means a lot. I've been sitting in through the program just smiling, just beaming with pride at our fantastic teachers and incredible students. And Jesus is right. It is about creating the environments where people can do their best work. And I remember, you know, sitting in those early meetings when we decided we were going to open an internationals academy, and so proud to see years later, not just that it's flourishing, but that teachers there are now becoming Teachers of the Year in our district. It's really beautiful. And I wanted to share just another little story that came to mind while I was watching the program, just to connect the generations. You know, sort of out of the blue, a year and a half ago, I got a letter from the estate of Ida Freggiaro, and she went to Richmond High maybe 70 years ago, and she left money from her estate to go specifically to Richmond High scholarships. So we see the community paying it forward. We see the community connected from 70 years ago, and we see the community emerging into new and different programs like the Internationals program. I think what I see in all of the teachers is this incredible combination of classrooms that are full of love and support, but also balanced with academic rigor and challenge. And that is sort of the secret sauce, to be able to combine those two wonderful sides of the coin and create an amazing classroom for students. I want to thank the Ed Fund. It's been an amazing and fun partnership to be with you these last 5 years. You all have gone above and beyond. Jasmine and Robert constantly seeking philanthropy, partnerships, funds, anything you can do to support the teachers and the students in our district. And I just want to say a personal thank you for that. It's been amazing. Our new superintendent will be starting soon, and I will, of course, pass on the message of just how important the Ed Fund is. Also, Jesus is right. I've been in his classroom. It's an amazing place, and it's the kind of place you want to stay and sit down next to students and hang out and do the math with them. And we have so many classrooms like that in our district. And sometimes our district feels like maybe we don't have those teachers. Maybe it's not going that well, but there are hundreds, if not thousands, of wonderful, amazing teachers in the district. And, you know, we honor them this incredible Teacher Appreciation Week. And so, yes, this is just my last couple of weeks left as superintendent, and it's been a fantastic 5 years. And so I say thank you. Thank you to the Ed Fund. Thank you to these incredible students who have also this amazing passion and drive for social justice and self-improvement that we're seeing across our system. So I'm just really proud to turn the district over to its next chapter in its leadership while all of these amazing things continue in our classroom. So Congratulations to the Ed Fund on another wonderful event. Congratulations to our teachers and our students. And thank you so much for allowing me to be a little part of the West Contra Costa history these 5 years. Thank you.
Well, Superintendent Duffy, once again, I just want to thank you for your unwavering devotion to our community. And thank you for being an integral part of the current environment that we have that has set so many teachers up, including myself, up for success. And so I want to invite everybody present to bombard that chat box with your positive comments. We appreciate you. Thank you, Superintendent Duffy. All right, so we are getting really close to the end. I want to end my time with you by saying a couple things, and they're mainly appreciations. Number one, I just want to thank the Ed Fund for allowing me to be a part of this amazing event. Number two, I want to thank everybody present. Thank you for spending your time with us, appreciating all the amazing work that our teachers and students are doing across our district. I also want to take some time to recognize, I know this event is primarily to celebrate our students and teachers, but I want to take some time to just celebrate our parents and guardians. I can't help but think of my parents. I'm the first person in my family to graduate from a four-year university, and there is no way I could not have done it without them. And so I want to thank parents and guardians for everything you do for your students. Thank you for giving us the privilege of working with your students. I also want to take this moment to send a quick shout out to my Lincoln Elementary team. We might be a small school, but the love, resilience, and tenacity that flows through our doors every day is unmeasurable, unquantifiable, and has moved mountains. Lastly, I want to end by saying I want to end by appreciating all the students across our district, the students who were the recipients of tonight's scholarships. Students like Carlos, one of my students who during the beginning of this year had a really difficult time logging in to our virtual Zoom lessons. His internet wasn't that stable, and yet Carlos managed every single day to submit all his work on time. Every single day, Carlos showed up ready to learn. And I recognize that in order to do that, it takes some level of sacrifice. I know that being a student during this time, I just can't imagine how difficult it is to be a student during this moment. And yet we've seen tonight that students continue to persevere. And not only do they continue to persevere, but they're thinking about others as well. And so for those students who have to cross metaphorical mountains just to learn, know that I and other teachers do this work because of you. With that said, if you were moved by anything you heard tonight, if you want to learn more about what the Ed Fund does, or maybe you want to contribute, please consider checking out any of their social media platforms or their website, which is really easy to remember, theedfundwest.org. Please subscribe if you haven't done so, to their Facebook pages. And now I want to end this night by introducing our next performance, which is the Pinole Valley High School Concert Choir. Thank you, everybody. I'm immensely grateful to have shared this experience and moment with you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.